And poof.
Poof, we are live.
We're on another stream.
Just like that. I see you again.
Why is Papa muted?
Sorry, I had to.
There you go.
That was my agent.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do these lives without getting some kind of bankroll anymore, guys.
Hey, I told you, you're going to get a cheese platter. That's all we're getting for you.
Hey, sold. We are in it. You guys, I have to apologize if I sound like crap. It's because I feel like crap because I've been sick all week. Not the Rona. It's not the Rona, guys, okay?
So you feel the way you're looking, in other words.
Yeah, so I apologize for my snottiness, but thankfully you guys can't catch it through the monitor. So,
well, I think you still look 100% healthy.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. It's been tough. My coworker's been out sick all week, so I've been having to go to the shop all week and just bust my butt all week. And
that's tough when you're not feeling 100%.
Yeah, man, it is. Tuesday and Wednesday were bad, but I got through today and left early. So,
well, if you need to duck out anytime to puke or anything, just give us maybe tap your head and we'll know. Hang in there, buddy. So a couple of things I just wanted to mention real quick, Mike. You owe me $20 because the Flames beat the Sharks.
I'm looking at it right now.
Good. That's like one of the only wins my team's had in the last little while. And what was the other thing? Oh, hey, Eric, why don't you tell viewers what our good friend Fred at Glovebox recently did something amazing.
Oh, you guys, this absolutely touched my heart. So Fred reached out to us about a young kid named Jabre, and he's, 13 years old?
13
years old, and he has a detailing business, and he literally he's an awesome kid. He puts work in the community. I mean, he's all over the place. Just such drive in this kid. He's got a detailing business. And Fred reached out because, unfortunately, he told us he had to close his business because his vacuum broke, and he basically had to tell his customers, "Hey, I'm sorry, but I have to close for the rest of this year because, prices of inflation of products, everything's going up." So, Sabrina, how are you doing? So Fred and I and Mike and Rick put our heads together to start. Fred started a GoFundMe so we can help support him, get some some revenue built up for him so he can get a new vacuum, tons of supplies, whatever he needs to reopen and deliver that awesome service he does to his customers. It's awesome on his page. He has interviews with his customers. His energy is legit. So you guys, I don't know if Mike or you got the link to the GoFundMe you can put there, or
I would put it in right now, but I don't have access to the description. But maybe someone could drop the link in the comments.
Is Fred here?
Fred should be here. If he's not here when we see him, we'll say, but what a great cause. I think he's ready to buy all kinds of new stuff, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No problem.
That was really neat.
Thank you guys so much, Jabre. So Jabre's watching. I guess he's Sabrina is his mother, I believe. And they're in the comments and they're watching. So, yes. All I know is it's for a good cause.
It is.
He's such a good kid.
Oops. Sorry, I meant to not. All right. So, we'll give more information ongoing. Tonight's guest is the Director of Success. That is his actual title. I love it. Director of Success at Dr. Beasley's. I did a deep dive the last week, watching lots of content on the Dr. Beasley's YouTube channel. I've been checking out Chris Racana. I want to say Racana, but I think it's Racana. Oh, he's not. No, it's Racana. And he's got a great, I know he's knowledgeable, and I know he's got great camera presence. I think we're in for a real treat. So why don't we go ahead and bring Chris in? What do you guys think?
Sure, why not? What the heck?
There he is.
Yes, it is Racana, and it is not a cheese. Just to let you know.
It sounds like a very expensive Wisconsin.
Alex is the director of Canadian maple syrup.
We're very pleased you could join us tonight, Chris. I know you got to be a busy guy living in that metropolis of Fontana, Wisconsin.
Yes, a metropolis it is. No, I appreciate you guys, the hospitality to invite me on. It's a pleasure and honor is all mine. So thank you so much.
Let me ask you just off the bat, if you weren't hanging out with the three of us and our viewers, what would you be doing tonight?
It's bedtime. This is I mean, thankfully grandma is in place as a stand-in for me tonight. So you have my wife and grandma doing bedtime with my twin 5-year-old girl. So that would be what I'd be up to right about now.
Living the sweet family life. So you're on Eastern time, are you?
Central.
Central. Okay. Well, sorry to keep you up, but we'll try to make it worth your while.
Oh no, man, absolutely. Daddy gets a break. This is a great thing. I get to hang out with my friends.
That's right. Yeah, we love connecting with people. We've done quite a few. Hey, Eric, what do we think?
Yeah, we've done. Honestly, we've done a lot. If you think about it, it's flown by. It's been over,
It's over
a year
60.
and a half, right?
I know it's over 60 of them.
Total, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm always surprised, but not. I shouldn't be surprised anymore when people with pretty, major roles in this industry agreed to just come on with and jump on with us. Like, it's just always humbling that guys like you, Chris, would take the time to do that. It really means a lot to us, and our viewers get so much value out of these. I hope.
Absolutely.
Thanks again.
No, it's all about relationships. I mean, I appreciate. Mike and I got to know each other a little bit over the last few months. So, I mean, when he talked to me about coming on the live stream, I mean, I jumped at the opportunity, and that's what it's all about: is recognize the opportunity and hey, man, let's walk down this path.
Definitely, that was awesome. Man.
I'm just amazed, Mike. You do so great. You should be a real estate agent because you just seem to be able to find deals where. And hook these people in with your charm and your charisma.
It's not charm or charisma. It was just here's Rick's credit card. Can you run this?
Yeah, because he maxed mine out. Mine out.
Well, look at all those products back there. Let me make Mike. Look at this. Come on, who's paying for all these products, Mike? Jeez, that's only one small corner of your garage.
That's everything. That's everything now.
Okay.
He's lying. He moved everything on the
it
opposite
is
side of the
everything.
camera.
It's only about 300 bottles. It's down from the 400 I had.
Oh boy.
I gave a whole bunch away. I made it look like I was busy, so I can tell my wife so I can buy that new extractor I just bought.
Yeah.
So it's all about giving and taking, right?
Yeah, I told her I've been busy. I need to get one of these. I've been busy.
Taco
I'd like to thank Mike for paying up on his debt. Mike and I had a wager the other day on Instagram. The Sharks lost to my Flames, and is this U.S. money, Mike, that you put in the pot?
No, it's pesos.
I'll take pesos.
Hey, YouTube takes
Tell me that's
30%.
not 20 Canadian dollars.
Technically, he only gave you like $11.82.
Yeah, because YouTube could take 30%.
We never did really nail down what currency that was going to be in. I would have only had to pay you about $11.
Well, you just said in the super chat. That's all you said. That's okay. I put in the super chat.
Now that you mentioned that, I've got a car. One of my customers brought me. Years ago. It's been sitting in my back lot for years, and I just noticed.
I just muted him.
You're fired. So I just noticed I was pulling cars in today, and it had a Calgary Flames license plate, old school license plate frame on it.
No, you should have trashed it.
Yeah, I was like,
why does this ring a bell?
I was like, that's got Rick's name written all over. So if you want it, I will take it off the car and I will ship it to you. You can hang it in your garage.
I want it.
All right.
You let me know what the shipping is because I know you Americans don't pay for shipping ever.
No.
It's against the Constitution.
I don't. I order from Carzilla, and I don't complain.
I order from Carzilla too.
All right. Well,
but you got to order enough to make sure when you use Rick's discount, it covers the shipping.
Not quite. All right.
That's how much you got to order.
Oh yeah. No, I hear you. And with your U.S. exchange, you guys should be buying a Carzilla. I think you're winning.
That's where I got my shine, mate.
Great, good customer cars up. Buy more from them. Absolutely.
That's right. I was up there. I saw they've got a wall of Beasleys up there. Dr. Beasley. Sorry, I should.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Chris, this is what we're going to do. We're going to shoot some questions your way, get the conversation flowing. We'll get to know you, and then we'll open up the conversation a little. What are you laughing about, Mike? Settle down.
Alex said he's going to grab the plate frame at Customs.
You would. All right. Welcome to 10 Questions with Mike, Eric, and Rick. Number 1. All right, Chris, tell us, when did your passion for detailing take root?
I mean, that's easy. That's early on. I mean, it's in my blood, kind of. I mean, I learned it from my brother was 9 years older than me. My father, set the example. I mean, my dad generally had, cool cars around and stuff like that. So, I mean, for me, when I was a, preteen, that kind of thing, it was just a way to get my hands on the cars. Pull it out in the driveway, like, hey, Dad, can I back it out of the garage and wash it for you and wax? And then that turned into a, hand wax, turned into a Porter cable and McGuire's, the 3-step and all that kind of stuff. And, it just kind of grew from there. I mean, high school, I got my license, I got a truck, I started mobile detailing, and doing that. And like, I was actually recruiting friends. Like I remember I go into like North Shore, Chicago, whatever, and I detailed this whole guy's 928, the soccer mom minivan, and 1 or 2 other cars, recruited some of my buddies, and we all got the guy, and his compensation got us second row seats to Lollapalooza, the Lollapalooza number 2. So this is like 1992-ish, something like that. So I mean, it was that was the what I liked to do back then when I was a kid, and just kind of went back to it now.
Oh, you mentioned 928, and I'm just thinking about how much I love that car, and that risky business. Oh man!
And as much as everyone loves the 911, I mean that's the one. Like I casually watching BAT. That's one of the cars I follow. Actually, is the 928 market. So it's like, maybe one day.
It's tempting. Some days you're like, oh, I might just hit that button. All right. So going back to when you were a kid, so probably 5 or 10 years ago.
Oh yeah. They're thinking you're being generous, but
when you were detailing cars belonging to your parents, did any of those cars have white wall tires?
Yeah, I mean there was probably I believe there was a Cadillac in there at one point that would have had white walls on it. Absolutely, there would have been my grandmother's giant Lincoln Town Car, champagne color, I'm talking, this is probably late 80s, early 90s era, something like that, with the giant, they would drive up from Florida with the giant bug screen, that's 4 inches off the top of the hood. Let me take care of that for you, Nani, Poppy. We're gonna get that done for you. So
awesome.
Nice.
Oh yeah. There's white walls.
All my dad's cars had white walls growing up, and he used to. He taught me a hack of using an SOS pad to clean the white walls. And I thought I was quite advanced as a 14-year-old. With all
SOS pads, the rubbing compound. Come on, Christopher, we're gonna get that scratch out of your mother's station wagon.
Right on. Yeah. Well, I think that's the same for all 3 of us. Kids, it's like you said, it was a good way to get your hands on a car before you could actually drive one.
Yeah.
All right.
And then my brother was super OCD, so then I picked up on a lot of it from him. When it became more like detailing, and that was right when McGuire, you could get McGuire's at the Napa down at the corner or whatever it was, but our first Griots catalog in the mail. I think we saw in the back of Auto Week or something like that, and it was just like, ooh, what's this? And that grew to the point where my brother and I lived together, worked together for years and stuff like that, and it's just like, so what are we buying now? Like, I get the catalog. We need this. We need that. Oh yes, absolutely, we need to have that. Yeah, I don't have that.
That's interesting you say that, because Griots really came on the scene up here in Canada around 2010. But had they been around for decades down there in the States?
I remember getting a paper catalog. I mean, I feel like at least in the aughts, maybe not in the 90s quite yet. I think they were still, running down to the Napa and getting McGuire's and all that kind of stuff. But I think in the aughts, I was getting their paper catalog.
Yeah, I gotta give Griots props, man. They got me really excited about acquiring products, like, task specific products, and still have a few Griots products kicking around. Love their emulsion stuff.
Yeah, to clean all that out when I went to work for Jim and Beasley, so that I have that anymore.
Just put that in the cabinet. Yeah. All right, awesome. Let's go to number 2. So far, you're 1 for 1. Okay, so when you're not busy directing success, where can you be found?
I mean, generally with the family. I mean, I mean, my hobbies are fishing and cars. So I'll go to a car show, do some cars and classics kind of stuff when I can. If I can, track day would be nice. I got a Lemons team that we race in. If you guys have heard of a series called 24-Hour Lemons, buy a $500 crap can car and go endurance race it. Basically a race of attrition more than anything. We got a E46 that we run in that we're on our 4th engine now. It's pretty dialed in now. Now we got it. But we do that. But other than that, I mean, 85% is just, hey, what do the kids want to do? We're gonna go out and go on the boat. We're gonna go sledding. We're gonna do like whatever we want the kids really want to do.
That's awesome. I saw that on your Instagram profile. You like the outdoors.
Yeah, when I can. Hoping to get more. I mean, again, we got, 5-year-old twins, so it's been a little bit locked in, pandemic, little kids, like all that kind of stuff. I mean, that was, my wife and I are kind of like, yeah, we're ready to go. We haven't been on a ski trip in 5 years, basically since the girls have been born. It's like, yeah, we'd like to get on, my board again one of these days.
Definitely.
Well, I'm sure it's going to happen for you soon. All right, number 3. So what is the one thing that you find most satisfying about your role at Dr. Beasley's?
I mean, honestly, it came so naturally, and the title is very much tongue in cheek. I mean, this is something like, you say director of success and you kind of snicker, but I love that because that's what I after when Jim first proposed that, it's like, I don't know, maybe not this and that, but I kind of started thinking about it. You talk to people, I talked to some of the people in the office and they all kind of laughed, and just and I loved it, because that's my whole thing. And I my personal belief is I like to spin everything positive. I think what you say matters, and how you say things matters. So I think it's important to frame things always in a positive. One thing I started with my kids to try and be a better father, I've tried to edit the word don't out of my vocabulary. Try to do that with small kids. Don't, and it's trying to learn a new language. So, I think in that, coming through with that and being able to talk to people, and especially people starting into the business and coming up into it, I love the opportunity to be able to kind of share my experiences having owned my own business and understanding what that is and all the trials and tribulations that come along with that. And to me, I'm in my happy zone right now because I'm actually in, my second, basically my second act of my professional career. So I was in that role before, and I'm very happy to be in my singular role right now. So I don't have to wear those multiple hats of an owner. I can empathize with that, but in this role, I can work as an advocate for basically my customer, these professional detailers out there. And, instead of that ownership role, I was always, that saying no guy, the rules, this, that, and dealing with all this, no, all the superfluous stuff with running a business. Now I can focus on this. And to me, that's the most satisfying, is because I can now focus on one singular aspect of doing something and just do it really, really well, because that's, again, I try to teach my kids, multitasking is doing multiple things poorly. Let's focus, on the task at hand.
So while we're on this, help me understand. You're in Wisconsin and you work with professional detailers, but that must mean you travel and what do you do? How many detailers do you interact with? What does that look like?
It's phone, text, email, IG messaging. I mean, it's a lot of different communication methods. Yeah. I do travel, as I can. I'll be at SDC. I go, down to Auto Geek. I do some detailing boot camps with those guys. I was with Rennie and Justin Lobato and those guys down in January down there. We do our own, trainings and stuff like that. So, we do down in Arizona at 48 Detailing. We do our training down there. We do it up at HQ in Chicago. So I'm always interacting with people there as well. But I mean, it's obviously, I don't have a problem talking. I'm an extrovert. So it's like, for me, this is again, a natural thing just to get together and have a conversation.
Nice. Would you ever go to Eric's garage and just hang out with him and do a video?
Probably, I would imagine.
I'm the same way. I'm always striking up conversations with the people. Anytime we go anywhere, the wife's always like, why do you always just like, she'll find me in the corner and I'll be talking about cars with some guy I don't even know in the corner.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, you know him? I'm like, no, but his name's Bill and he's cool.
Yeah. He likes cars. I like cars. We're friends.
Oh, I mean, fast friends, right? It's like, hey, like cars. All right, let's go. And then the conversation's like, you're trying to leave, please. Like, but I just one more minute,
Let me show you my car. Oh, wait, look, check this out.
All right. Well, this question is, so we've asked a lot of people this question, but I think you're a perfect person for number 4, Chris.
Oh, boy.
So something that I see happening in the detailing world that I really like is,
I mean, I love the community of it, and that's the one thing, that I didn't see as much in my old industry, and I see much more here of, is when you get a bunch of guys together, and this go at multiple levels. Again, like if I'm down at an Auto Week event and there's competition right there, but we're all just kind of hanging out, sharing information, that kind of thing. So there's not quite there's a good vibe there, and stuff like that. And then a general willingness to, again, share information, because in the end, a rising tide raises all ships, and that's where I see, I believe there has been a sea change in American consciousness. Coming into this industry, I shifted industries and I put thought into it too. Like, I did some research on it, and I'm like, there's, a lot of opportunity in this industry. And it's everything from guys building more tunnel washes to, guys building more hand washes to guys doing more detail shops and all that sort of thing. So there is that, there's that groundswell there, that's like, uh-oh. I'm sorry. One of my girls.
I thought that was my child in the reflection.
Yeah, that's one of mine. Good night, sweetheart.
Kid on the loose. Whose is it?
Had to get Lammy. Cannot go to bed without Lammy. But no, like, I mean, it's no longer like just me and my kind of weird car friends who you spend 3 hours washing your car. Yeah, and that's okay, but it's growing. And what I'm seeing is, the people that used to just take their car to, I get an oil change, run it through the thing at the dealership. Now they're kind of taking their car, they're thinking about, and they're going to get in a wash package at that tunnel wash. That tunnel wash customer is now maybe taking their car to a hand wash. And the hand wash is the way I really want to take care of my car. So they're coming to see guys like you, like guys like Mike, guys like Eric, that kind of thing. So this is where I see like it's raising up. And this is where, like, from Dr. Beasley's perspective, and one of the reasons I went to work from Beasley's is because I saw what they were doing, being able to ship OEMs. And I'm like, if you have OEMs actually buying, do you think they give a rat about the aftercare of their vehicle and what it looks like? You own it. It's a unit. Get rid of it. But they're putting this stuff in people's trunks and delivering a car with it. To me, they're saying that they're trying to provide extra value to their customer. So that means they're seeing something. And who's got the money to be able to put in the market research to know that their customers would appreciate and value having a ceramic coating and all the stuff they need to care for the car placed inside the car? That's no accident. And that's where I see, like, that's what I see about this industry. I see opportunity on all facets and levels of this industry.
Yeah, I was watching a video today, the one that you were talking about, the relationship between Dr. Beasley's and Hyundai. Or Hyundai.
Yeah.
Hyundai. There's a
Hyundai.
And you were saying that it's becoming more and more, I don't know.
I mean, there's Audi. There's, we're Mopar. These are companies that are recognizing that, customers actually care. Now, if we can educate the dealers about the cars too, that's probably the bigger challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, they get a bad rap, those dealers do, with the way they care for cars.
Yes.
Yeah,
They do.
Some do. In my experience, I mean, there's so many times that they just. I mean, I go buy a car. I know more about the car I'm buying than the guy selling it to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Hopefully that'll have a sea change too at some point. I don't know.
Oh, dealerships are they're going to be service centers now. You're going to buy your car online. Ford's already doing it. I have a buddy of mine trying to find a Tremor right now. He's like, it takes 6 to 12, 20 weeks or whatever. He's like, what do I care? He's like, it gets here when it gets here. You pay MSRP. You pick the dealer you want it delivered to. I had a buddy of mine that just bought a Mach-E GT to the same thing. You pay list. It is what it is. No more going to get a deal at invoice, but no more dealing with the dealer rigmarole either. And it's just a service center. So I truly believe that, the days of a dealer with 300 cars on the lot are done. Those days are numbered. They're service centers now, and it's going to be one of those services that they're going to want to sell, because now it's not going to be selling cars. It's going to be where they're selling oil change. Who you selling an oil change to in an electric car? You know what they got to sell now?
Yeah.
They got to sell the maintenance on the outside of the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bought a piece of cake from a vending machine today. I thought this world is going to, Cake Boss. Cake Boss.
Was it good?
Yeah.
Oh, what kind of cake?
Rainbow.
Rainbow, huh?
Very dense.
Well.
All right, now, flip side to number 4. Something I see happening in the detailing world that I don't really like is.
All right, this is easy. And this is something a little personal.
Let's go.
Lifetime coatings. For the love of, talking about coatings in terms of years amongst detailers, I get to qualify. I got a 5-year, 3-year, 7-year. You are doing yourself a disservice if you're trying to sell a customer a coating and you tell them like, oh, well, I got this 3-year, 5-year, 7-year, and a lifetime. They're like, you're never going to sell it. I lease this car. I don't keep cars that long. How many people keep a car that long? So to me, you're talking yourself out of a potential sale. And it's not to be like too salesman-y about it. In the end, you're trying to qualify the customer and understand and provide them a solution for what they're trying to do, But I see time again, like, oh, lifetime. I see it advertised. I see it on Facebook, social media, talking about, why are you trying to sell lifetime? When I'm training our guys, our authorized retailers to do it, you're selling a self-healing coating. You're selling a coating that adds, legitimate candy gloss through film build, by building up on it. Just tell them, that it's lifetime, 25 years, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't mean anything. This isn't likely going on a car. If it's going on a show car, an exotic, it's a car you could probably put Carnauba on that would last 5 years because it sees daylight 4 days a year. The reality of it, the durability doesn't matter. I think it's more, is it a cold gloss? Is it a warm gloss? Is it hydrophilic? Is it hydrophobic? Is the customer really into it? Does he like beads, or does he actually understand you want water off the panel so we don't get water spots? So would he appreciate a hydrophilic coating? Is he a little bit more discerning customer? And this is where I'm saying, let's get the customers, let's drill it down to what they want instead of, hi, would you like a 1-year or a 5-year warranty or a lifetime? Because you're not helping. You're keeping your sales lower, and you're not really providing the customer what they really might want, which is what we're trying to do in the end.
You're not educating them.
Exactly.
Bravo, man. I'm going to give you a standing ovation for that one. But yeah,
really though, he's right. There's too many people out there that are. There's people out here. One of my customers just got for, I think he paid $600. He's like, he goes, yeah, he bought a new Volvo, and he was like, yeah, I just got it ceramic coated. He goes, but I had a question because, it just, I don't know if they did it right. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And I went out and I looked at it. First of all, he literally just got it done, and he brought it to me. Swirls the paint looked terrible, and I was like, the car looked clean, but I said, hold on, let me grab my light, And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, ooh. I was like, did they polish it at all? He goes, what did he say? They said they did a clay bar on it, and I was like, okay. I was like,
clay bar, and then
anything, anyone?
No.
I said,
Is this thing on? Tap, tap, tap.
Yeah.
Who did it? And he said, that place right down there by the Jack in the Box? I was like,
say no more.
this is not ceramic. They did not ceramic coat it. It's like I went in and got some water. I threw it on there. I was like, no. He was like, he said it was ceramic. He said they put a ceramic coating on it. I don't know. He brought it out and he showed me the spray bottle, and I was like,
it's not a spray bottle.
Yeah. He's an older gentleman though. Like,
yeah.
He's probably mid-60s. You know, he's been coming to us for years, and he loves Volvos. All he owned is Volvos. And I felt bad. And he was like, I'm going to go back there. I was like, you didn't hear it from me. Don't tell him you heard it from me. And he was like, yeah, it's just so rough. You know, I don't even think they deconned it. Like, it was just terrible. And I felt so bad.
Damn.
A lot of people that are like, oh, yeah, ceramic coating. And all they're using is ceramic spray wax. And they're selling ceramic coatings. You know, it's like.
Yeah, well, as detailing takes off, we're going to see more and more snake oil salesmen. We already saw enough, but well, what are you going to do? You're going to try to educate as best you can, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
All right. Number 6. We're going to get away from the things that trigger Chris. Or not.
Sorry.
Maybe there'll be more trigger. No, that question is designed to trigger people and get the real reaction, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Number 6. Name a car you really want, but will probably never buy.
1962 Ferrari GTO. 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO. I'll never be able to afford it. Well, who knows? But I mean, that's the car in my mind. You know,
1966 Ferrari, what, 250?
1962 250 GTO.
I got to Google that one. I know. I have a feeling I know what it looks like, but let me just Google.
Oh, you know, it's the
Rick
greatest looking
one of those
car on the face of the planet. It is. I mean, in a Colombo, it leads to the possible attainable goal would be to own a carbureted.
That guy.
Correct.
Is that it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I have one of those.
I think Rick detailed one before.
Yeah. No big deal.
I think my son has it.
I just clay barred it, and then I went over it with a ceramic coating spray.
Oh,
there's a great video.
Lifetime.
Nick Mason owns one, drummer of Pink Floyd, amongst several other very cool cars. But you know, he lets his wife and her girlfriend go romping on it. That, you know, just out in the, you know, British countryside and stuff like that. And it is the Colombo V12. Especially carbureted, is one of the most phenomenal sounding engines, the most phenomenal sounding engine on the face of the planet.
I don't doubt it. Now, anyone in the comments, if you're unfamiliar with Pink Floyd, I'd like you to log out now. Go to your Google or your local record store and buy some Pink Floyd.
And then on the third roar of the line, sync it up with Wizard of the Oz, Dark Side of the Moon with Wizard of the Oz. And then there you go.
That's a different broadcast. We'll have to do a different live stream. Just music.
Big Fred is in the house.
That
What's
sounds
up, Big
interesting. Who's in the house?
Fred is in the house. So
good.
You got to stick in till the end, Fred, because we want to talk a little bit more about what we got going on with Jabre. But towards the end, we'll talk more about that.
This is Alex from the pre-show. He just said the car he wants but will never buy is my car. All right, Clifford, what does he say? Dark Side of the Moon, yeah. That's a good one. All right, you can stay in, Big Red. Okay.
Mark's comfortably numb. Oh, he must be a couple beers deep.
All right, number 7, Chris.
All right.
So I know you're a big fisherman. I read that on your profile. Tell us about the one that got away.
Tarpon. Down, we were fishing, me and my buddy Dave fishing out of Isle Morada in a flats boat, and I don't know how to fly very well, so we were on spinning tackle, and I got a tarpon on, and there's down in the Keys you got the little bridge that goes from one to the other. Captain was phenomenal maneuver because the fish, those fish are smart, so it just darted right between kind of like the aqueduct or whatever. So Captain gets us through there. I'm still fighting the fish. Fish goes around a pylon. There's a pylon on the other side. Fish goes around, line goes slack. I'm like, oh man, Captain's like, nothing I can do about that. And right when the line goes slack, that tarpon jumps up in the air. And, if fins had fingers, I swear to God, the middle one was like, yeah, next time, buddy, you know, and then off it went, you know, and I was just like, and I'm like, I still haven't caught a tarpon yet, you know, it's just like, oh, bastard.
Okay, so I live in a landlocked Canadian province. Is this a saltwater fish or is this a freshwater fish?
Saltwater. Well, it loves briny water. It's, you know, saltwater. Okay. It's down in the Keys. It is a saltwater fish.
Okay, so you're down in the Keys. Okay, so you're not in some lake in Wisconsin.
Well, I mean, that's muskie. I mean, that's the lake I'm on right here. I mean, there's 50-inch muskie in this lake, and I have yet to even get one on the line. I just have tremendously great luck when it comes to that. But, you know, oh, yeah, it's the tarpon. Yeah. It's an amazing. Oh, yeah. It's an amazing. They live a long time. I mean, it's an amazing fight. You want to look up a cool fish? One of the coolest fish I ever caught. My wife and I were down fishing out of Capos in Costa Rica. Rooster fish. That is probably the coolest looking fish I've ever caught. Right, that thing is awesome. And it's got no teeth. It eats like clams and mollusks and stuff like that. So it has no teeth. Oh yeah, it's awesome. Look up. You have an opportunity to go cook to rooster fish. That's one of the coolest fish you'll ever catch in your life. It's awesome.
Oh, I don't fish enough. I gotta start.
And an amazing fight. That's the cool thing about it. It's cool looking and a good fight.
Can't beat that.
Yeah.
Would you ever entertain a northern Canadian wilderness fishing trip?
My favorites of all time up in God's Lake in northern Manitoba. For Father's Day, my dad used to take my brother and I, and the last few trips were up to a place called I can't remember the outpost now, but it's on God's Lake, and it is, you know, catching 40 to 45-inch northern pike on the regular. Basically, we go walleye in the morning, shore lunch, you know, then go pull up on shore, build a fire, fry the walleye there, have shore lunch right on the shore, spend the afternoon. You want to go for Lakers or you want to go for pike? You know, what are we doing? We go deep for lake trout, or we go over in the flow or in the by the woods for the pike. I mean, that's good living.
My dad took me on a trip to northern Manitoba. We took a train 2 hours north of Flin Flon, Manitoba, to a lake called Kississing, Lake Kississing. And it was, like you said, we were eating the walleye at lunch, and then we'd go for pike or jackfish, we call them up here.
And that's when I learned about with the walleye cheeks. It's all about with the cheeks. That's like, you know, you don't get that in a restaurant ever. Like when you go to walleye up there, like, oh, the cheeks are the best.
We were jigging for perch. I don't know if that's.
Oh yeah.
So I fished. All right.
I love it.
Awesome. Number 8. So, what do you believe has been the number one contributing factor to your success in this industry?
I mean, I honestly, maybe Jim shouldn't see this, but I feel I was given the layup of layups, you know, as a salesman. I mean, so I had a relationship with Jim Lefebvre, who is the owner formulator at Dr. Beasley's for several years. And I had seen the company grow and grow and grow. So through, you know, life-altering events, reprioritization of, you know, what is important in life, I'm leaving Chicago, I moved to Wisconsin, and I make a phone call to Jim because I had been bartering him warehousing space and stuff like that for detail services. And I'm like, hey, you know, selling the building, this and that, you know, it's time to move your stuff out. He's like, oh, what are you going to do? And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I haven't really thought about that. My family imported furniture from Italy for 3 generations. It's all I've ever really done. You know, I did some, you know, detailing back in the day, but this is all I've ever really done. And that's what kind of got me started down the path of thinking, like, what am I going to do next? You know? And so I went back down and I'm like, oh, I've done this detailing and I kind of liked that. That's fun. I remember, like, I still to this day, like, I don't need a shrink. I just need to go sit in the driveway with my car for 3 hours. You know, like that's my detail therapy. You know, that's what I need. And so I kind of wanted to explore this a little more. So I really went down, I called Jim. I'm like, let's go have lunch, whatever. And I just want to come see your business and kind of, you know, I'm curious. I want to learn about this industry and stuff like that. And I meet his team. And I'm walking around, you know, meet everybody, you know, Andrew, Victor, and, you know, Tony, and so, you know, blah, 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 all these people and all this kind of stuff. And I'm looking around, I'm like, yeah, but who's selling this stuff? You know, and he's like, well, we all do. I'm like, Jim, I like you. I mean, we've been friends for a long time. You're not a salesman. You know what I mean? This is, you know, he's happiest in the lab, you know, like that's his thing, you know, that's his happy place. My happy place is out engaging and talking to people, like who's doing that for you? And that's when I realized Dr. Beasley has gotten to this level of success with literally the product selling itself. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was just like, and then I'm looking at this, you know, as my opportunity to be like, this is going to be a layup. I mean, like, come on, like all I really got to do is get out there and start talking to guys about detailing cars. And hello, like this is what my brother and I used to do for hours. I know, like when we weren't doing our job, we were generally, you know, if it wasn't like something about our families, it was, hey, you know, your car, we had cars, you know, he had his boat, I had my boat, all that kind of thing. Like, hey, I want to do this. We'd sit. That's what you did in wintertime. Furniture industry, you're dead from Thanksgiving to New Year's. There's nothing to do. So we sat in this warehouse. We detailed the boats, the cars, and stuff like that. You know, and that's what we did. You know, so to me, like I was looking at this, I'm like, this is an opportunity that this is golden. You know, and this was part of me deciding, you know, speaking with my wife, all that stuff. Like we're gonna stick around the Midwest for a little while and see this thing through because, you know, like I said. The industry, there's an opportunity, and then I saw an opportunity with Dr. Beasley's, and you know, this is like when it's make your own luck time. You know, it's like, you know, it's you know what luck is? It's preparation, the ability to recognize opportunity. You know, so you know, I felt like, you know, I was, you know, prepared to do this job and to do it well, and that the opportunity was there, and I'm like, let's take it and run with it.
And how long have you been in that role?
January 4th, 2021 was my first day. So what are we at? 13 months.
Wow.
How and we don't want to get into financials, but like, are you making a difference?
Yes.
Good. I
yes.
I knew the answer was going to be yes.
The man is pleased. The man is pleased. You know.
Have you seen more expansion into Canada? That's where I am.
Working on that right now. You know, we have a very good relationship with Chris over at Carzilla. You know, so you know, and he does carry a great variety of our products. But you know, hey, you know, that's a big country. There's no reason I think we can handle, you know, some more business up there. So that's certainly something that I am presently working on and hoping to have. Especially, I want to be. I mean, because I understand it. Like, it's tough when you're buying across the border. It's like, all right, I can do a $300 order, maybe a $1,000 order, but you're still paying that every time it goes across the border. You know, you're still paying that brokerage fee and all that kind of stuff. I understand a distributor can do that. Buy 10 grand is paying that same brokerage fee. Like I understand this because like I imported from Italy for, you know, over 20 years. So I understand, you know, it's an economy of scale. That's why I brought in 40-foot high cube containers with 65 cubic meters of product on it, because for me to bring in a 20 for the same amount for, you know, a little bit less money didn't make any difference. So, you know, yes, we're looking to expand up there. So we want to be able to have someone to be able to supply more the gallons and 5-gallon sizes to service the professionals up there in the Great White North.
You know, I'm going to ask you a question that's been on my mind, but I always forget to ask people. So we have some chain stores up here, you know, your big box chain stores that I'm sure would love to carry a brand that has some, you know, prestige to it. Would you ever consider doing that, or do you feel that might work against you?
It's a balancing act, you know. I mean, you certainly don't want to dilute the brand by any means, but you know, there might be a product that fits that niche, you know. You know, one thing we just came out with is our Dash Pro product, you know, and this is a product that's fairly simple to use, you know, and you know, something that, you know, I'm obviously, you know, getting to pros, but could translate pretty easily to the DIY market. You know, who doesn't want a dustless dash? You know, the idea of like, you can put this coating, and then when you drive your car, the vibrations create the kinetic energy for that coating to fall off, you know, and the dust falls down the floor. So, you know, is that the type of product that might translate well to a shelf, you know, in a retail store?
Yeah.
Maybe. Am I going to put Nano Resin Pro up there as a 100% solid self-healing? Like this thing is like, I love this coating, but like I get an email every time one of those sells on the website, And like, if I just see it going to Joe Schmo, you know, like I literally drop an email or call like, hey, how you doing? So you ever done this before?
Yeah.
Because this is not the coating you want to cut your teeth on here. You know, I got other ones if you want to, you know, first time, like you just, that paste wax. Okay, let's try something else before we dive into the deep end. Okay. So, you know, it's I wouldn't want to dump the whole product line into a retail shelf, but, you know, there could be products that could translate to the right retailer, you know.
Yeah.
Would I want to see it in Walmart? That's not so much, you know.
Yeah, I remember Tommy Hilfiger years ago struck a deal up with Target, and it was like, well, Tommy Hilfiger is done as a like legitimate fashion brand because they sold their soul kind of thing. Anyway, I always wanted to hear a professional's opinion on that. Okay, number 9. So, what is your favorite way, Chris, of rewarding yourself after having one of those awesome days? Like, let's say you landed that Harpin. How would you have treated yourself?
Ate it. I'm just kidding.
Well, usually, I mean, I do have a rule in this house: if you kill it, you eat it. So, I mean, like, you know, that's like we're out here, and if we get, you know, I mean, come on, get some walleye. Ooh, I would love that's the reward in itself. But I mean, it could be a couple different things. You know, it could be taking a drive. You know, as simple as that.
Nice.
I mean, I have I bought, you know, December 2020, I bought a GT350R, and which has the second greatest sounding engine on the face of the earth, only to a V12 Colombo that we talked to earlier. But
it's almost $9,000 RPM,
80,
right?
Yeah, 8250, 5.2 liter, and that's a cool thing about the car. That car, Ford Performance took they bought a driveline of a 458 Italia, so a flat plane crank, 4.5 liter V8 out of a Ferrari, reverse engineered it, punched it out to 5.2 liters to create the most powerful naturally aspirated engine Ford has ever and will ever produce. Plunked it, and I still believe to this day that car was designed for the GT. Because that's a Ferrari engine that was supposed to. I still believe. I have no proof of this at all, but I believe my conspiracy mind says that engine was designed for the Ford GT that won Le Mans. But that chassis was so good. Why not dump an Eco Boost, you know, 6-cylinder in it, you know, just for the Ford Oval? I could see Ford doing it. We all watch Ford versus Ferrari. Come on, who couldn't see the corporate guys going, hey, come on, let's put a truck V6 in it if it's that good. Why not? You know, and off it goes. So I still believe that they had this amazing, basically Ferrari knockoff engine sitting around, like, what are we going to do with it? Let's dump it in a Mustang.
Because of America, baby.
What can
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell us about your drive. Is there a certain route you like, or do you vary it every time?
No, I have a couple different routes. There's literally a road called Back Road, which is at least 8 or 10 90-degree turns in a row. Because I mean, third gear, top of third gear is jail territory. So you know, I like to keep it, you know, in the shorter bursts kind of thing.
But what if you were in Mexico?
Yeah.
Well, you know, that might work. You know, then in that case, it's just like I just don't want to get stopped because I don't want to get jacked, basically. You know, at that point. So
a few years ago, I went on a rally and we did the Tail of the Dragon. Have you ever driven that road?
I got a customer down by there, and I keep on talking. I'm gonna go visit him and take the car down there. He's like, "Oh, when are you bringing the Stang?" And I was like, "Let's see when we get something together." But I've watched many a YouTube of cars going on the Dragon, so that's something I definitely want to do.
Well, definitely something my therapist and I are still working through. I think I've almost recovered. All right.
He comes talks to us every other week.
What'd you take on it?
I was with my friend in an R8 Audi.
Ooh, nice.
99 other petrol heads.
So I mean, but I hear, a lot of police and stuff like that. So I hear you're not really like running a gun in, but I mean, were you able to exercise the car a little bit and have a little fun with it?
There's no limits. Everybody does what their car can do.
Oh, really?
There's no adults. There's no supervision.
You were driving it, Rick? Were you driving or were you riding?
If I was driving it, I probably would have had a more sense of control. I was just sitting shotgun. I had my hand out the window with my nails embedded in his paint. And like other co-pilots had like braces, or what are they called? Harnesses. I was just like getting tossed around. Oh, man. But I'll tell you, the car that impressed me most out of all those supercars, there were Lambos, Ferraris, was the Audi RS3. Nothing could touch the Audi RS3 in that specific situation. These guys could drive, man. These were people that had spirited cars and knew how to drive them. And you know what? The C7 Corvettes, they represented in the twisties, man. All this shit about, all this talk about Corvettes can't handle. Oh no, I saw them handle. Like, it's unbelievable.
They're built for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I could go on and on about that. We got to get to number 10 for Chris.
I like
All
number 10.
So Chris, I saw you're always chasing the true happiness. So tell us, what is your source of true happiness?
I mean, it's not any one thing, you know. It's a feeling. It's an emotion. It's just reaching that place of tranquility. Is it? You know, it's something that, like, I go back to. I went to Marquette University for 3 years, and I spent a lot of that time in philosophy courses. Until my counselor was like, "What's with all the philosophy courses? You want to be a professor?" I'm like, "No," but it was just like a lot of the basis of that was, you know, like, what is happiness, and doing those deep, you know, explorations. You know, when you're again, you know, Aristotle and Socrates and you know, read Dante, stuff like that, and it's just like, you know, what is the root cause of that? And it's funny, like, going through. Then later in life, some trials and tribulations. You know, my twin girls were born at 27 weeks. You know, so we spent 3 months in the NICU. You know, that was a challenge. You know, we've had you know cancer and Alzheimer's and all that sort of stuff. You know, run through the family, and so you kind of had that, and like rearrange your priorities in life. And it's just like, you know, what is really this about? You know, anything I can purchase, buy it, doesn't matter one inkling. You know, like, I want to do what makes me happy. And that's part of the reason I'm in this business. And it's because, you know, I did that deep inward look, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do? I'm not going back to the furniture industry. There's too many ghosts, too many emotions. I don't want to do it. And I know I can, you know, but I just don't want to. I want to be happy, you know, and that's always, you know, been the number one goal. And that was, you know, again, what brought me down this path is like, I can sit here and then now, you know, on a Saturday night, sit around and, you know, BS with, you know, some dudes on the internet about cars and stuff like that. And like, you know, and that's all good, you know, and I'm like, this is, to me, this isn't, if you love what you do, you won't work a day in your life, you know. And I forgot about that for a long time. I learned to love the furniture because my dad and my brother were there with me. So it was something that too, when they went away, you know, it was just me. And it was like, I don't love this, that. No, I love them, not this, you know. So that's when I was like, okay, I got to find what it is I love to do.
Well, and that's sometimes that takes more courage than anything, is to take that chance. Glad to hear you did.
Oh yeah, no, and it's one of those things. I can't remember for the life of me who said it, but you know, I saw it on, I think, an award show of all things. But you're either on a roll or you're taking shit from some asshole. You know, oops, sorry. You know, but
we got the last bit of that. Yeah.
Sorry. But
okay.
But you know, I feel that we are, you know, I was on a roll. You know, I feel like, you know, this is kind of one of those times in life, you know, and it's because it was a little bit of kismet, you know, that I had known Jim for so long, and I just, you know, happened to strike up this relationship, and just all these things just happen to align. So is it fate? You know, is it whatever it is? But it's just like, you know, he and I just happened to have the right conversation at the right time. And I've told Jim, like, I wish I would have done this. I would have left the furniture industry 10 years ago and done this. He's like, I wasn't ready for you 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's like all these kind of stars kind of had to align right. And it's just like, it just feels right, you know? And then that's, you know, what it is about, you know, it's like, does it feel good? Does it, you know, does this make me happy? Because if it doesn't, I don't care what they're going to pay me. It doesn't matter.
Thanks so much. You know what makes me happy is buying things. And that takes us to our bonus question. Gentlemen, you know the question that's coming.
I love the bonus question.
I love this one.
We've asked it to every guest, and we get such a wide range of responses. Chris, we're going to ask you the bonus question. Tell us about a recent non-detailing related purchase that left you super satisfied. It could be small, it could be big.
Ironically, about, what was that, 4.5 hours ago, had a contractor stop by, sign a contract, and gave him a nice deposit check on a new kitchen and a new master bathroom. So that's going to be, you know, a little short-term pain going through the mess of it and all this kind of stuff, but you know, it's going to have, my wife has always wanted the giant, like 2-headed shower thing with the benches in it and all that kind of stuff. So
benches in the shower are cool.
Oh yeah. You know, so we're going to do that whole thing and, you know, big walk-in closet and all that kind of stuff. So, and she's going to,
nice.
I mean, my wife is, you know, an incredible woman, and she put up with me and a lot of my, you know, stuff, and you know, I got to make sure, you know, that she's appreciated.
Definitely.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just did that recently as well. I don't know, not too long ago, within the past year.
Hi, honey. She's sitting actually right over there. So that was a little bit for you guys and a little bit for her. So
I see.
In the interest of full disclosure, you know, you probably see her in the reflection behind me.
Yeah, we tore
see
all
the hearts coming out of her eyes.
Oh yeah,
we did the whole thing, man. I'm talking. We lived in our house for 5 years. We never used our master bathroom. We always used the one in the hallway because she was like, "Nah, it's nah. We need to get it redone." And then finally tore it all out. Got our uncle over. We literally tore everything out and just started from scratch. And now everybody uses that one. My daughter's like, I'm like, get about my bathroom.
Well, that's the thing. Like, this bathroom's got like the big, like, it's got this big like jacuzzi tub thing or whatever it is that no one ever uses, you know. But except for the kids, you know, it's through the twins in and stuff like that. They're the only ones that ever use it. And then there's a shower. Like, I can't even like. It's seriously about a width of this window. Like, I can't even get. I'm like this is like how, no, this is not the way this is supposed to work. You know, I should have space.
Yeah, why was that ever acceptable to have a shower that small? What people was that said I need to be completely wrapped in fake glass? Weird.
I don't know. I'll tell you what. We got one of those big old shower, like waterfall faucets. It's like 12 inches by 12 inches, and it just pours on you.
Oh yeah.
Bang.
Now that's living. That's living.
Oh. I just stand there.
We thank you for doing the questions. It really is neat to get to know these people behind these brands we love. And I know, Mike, you've been sitting on some questions for a bit here.
I have.
Because you're the product master. Eric and I, we're not bad.
Okay, so
here we go.
My first question. All right, my first question. When I think of Dr. Beasley, I think of matte finish products. How does Dr. Beasley supersede itself on the matte finish products? What does it think about? What's it do to jump itself in front of everything when it comes to that?
So I'm actually going. It's funny. I'm going to SDC, Southern Detailers Conference, and I'm bringing one product and one product only. I could bring the whole shebang, whatever. I'm bringing one. Nano surface primers. And the whole thing here is, you know, it's about delivering to the customer, you know, the as advertised performance of the coating, you know. And this is something, and see, again, this is a unique thing. Like, you know, Jim sees this stuff because he's a shop owner too. So, you know, Jim came out with his coatings first, and he's seen, you know, and he's like, you know, the coating failure. What's the most common cause of coating failure? Is, you know, preparation. And so he's like, you know, what's going on with this? He's like, that's a problem as a shop owner. Like, you know, coating failure is a problem. What causes coating failure is the fact that these polishes and compounds and stuff like that we're using have, you know, silicone oils and all this other kind of stuff, all this stuff that are contaminants that hinder adhesion of a ceramic coating. Okay. So what he wanted to do is resolve that problem. He's like, why are we using this old technology? Because this technology to get the paint smooth, to get that gloss down, was invented with, you know, the assumption of we're following up with Carnauba. You know, no one's come out with anything new since. So he spent 18 months in the lab, and he came up with two things. Like, because what makes up a polish or a compound? You have the abrasive and you have the carrier. The abrasive is new. It's a microsphere, so it's a engineered, man-made, perfectly shaped sphere with near infinite facets cut in it. That's pretty cool because it's a super efficient at material removal. That's what we're doing when we polish. We're removing clear coat from the surface. So what these microspheres can do, because they are more consistent in size and shape than, you know, super micro abrasive technology or diminishing abrasive technology, they are able to be more efficient with that takeoff. But the bigger breakthrough with NSPs was with the carrier. And the thing with the carrier is it's what Jim calls nanogel. So now we have SiO2, TiO2 technology in the carrier. So, you know, this would have been like, if we're using a traditional compound or polish, you know, we're laying that down on the paint. We're laying down old technology. It's like laying down masking tape, you know, on your paint. And then you're coming in with this, because what is masking tape? It's a physical bond. What is carnauba? It's a physical bond. And then we're coming in with ceramic, which is why is ceramic awesome? Why is ceramic, the durability so incredible? Yes, it's the material, but it's the nature of the bond. It's a physical bond on old technology and carnauba and stuff like that. With the ceramic, you're making a mechanical bond. It's cross-linking and bonding with the paint, you know? So we're using these old school polishes, and we're laying down basically masking tape, and we're laying down Velcro on top of it. Now, will it stick? Sure. But why not, as you're abrading the surface, why not lay down nanotechnology? So that way you're laying down Velcro. And then what happens when you bring in the Velcro on top of it? Because it's the same technology. Now we're using SiO2 here, SiO2 here. What happens? Cross-link and bonding. So this way, whatever it is, and this is where you can ask any of my guys I've opened in the 14 months I've been there. I don't push our coatings. I'll be patient for that business, because in the end, we're all in the same ballpark as far as, you know, technology as the coatings is concerned. Okay, but when it comes to the paint correction end of it, whatever coating you're putting on top of it, if you want that coating to perform the way it says it's supposed to perform in that bottle, use a nano surface primer to do your paint correction, because we are sticking in the full realm. It's a 100% inorganic product. So you are going to be able to create that most durable possible bond of that ceramic coating when you do your paint correction by NSP. So that's where Beasley's, you know, the matte stuff was cool, you know, and I got some really cool stuff for the interior. Like I said, the Dash Pro thing is really awesome. And, you know, our Leather Lock Pro, I mean, you want to talk about OEM finish on leather, doesn't change it an iota. Put it on a Ferrari, put it on a McLaren, whatever it is, you're going to have that beautiful matte finish. But really what I'm getting, because again, I want to get this out there, because what I saw, this is an opportunity to help people. Like, this is like, you are going to, and what gets people's attention when I'm sending emails out, and the subject line that gets attention is ditch the IPA wipe. You know, that's usually like my first is like, hey, no more IPA wipe. You get to skip that step, because that's easy math. Well, if I can skip that step, that saves me time, that saves me money, you know? So, you know, that, but where I'm like, that's not even the best part. I'm like, the best part is that you're going to deliver a better product to your customer. What's going to get your attention is the money saving. But what should really be the big point here is that we are now correcting paint with modern technology. And that's what I'm trying to get out there right now to guys.
So the primer isn't being used to correct the paint?
No, yes, it is. That's the thing. So there's some other products out there that are trying to imitate us, maybe still using old school abrasives in there and stuff like that. But we have NSP 150. The number, you got 150, 95, and 45. The number refers to the size of the abrasive in it. So the microsphere in 150 is 1.5 microns. The abrasive size in 95.95. The abrasive size in 45 is 0.45. So you got your heavy cut compound in 150, you got your fine cut in 95, and then you got your finisher in 45, you know?
Okay, so I'm looking at those right now. Okay, I'm starting to be able to visualize what it is you're saying.
Yeah. And
these, you wouldn't need to IPA wipe as you work your way through this series, because they are already priming, or they're like you said, they're the hook and loop, they're the Velcro.
Exactly.
The ceramic coating bond.
Exactly, because it doesn't have any of those elements that it would be considered contaminants that are going to hinder adhesion. So all we're looking to do is do our correction and then pull it off. Now, it's a different, the nano gel. Here's where it freaked me out. So, I mean, I came, into Beasley's, and I get on at my old man's 2012 ML350 black Mercedes SUV, and he used to run it back and forth to Florida. So it was always a car that's kind of ridden hard and put it away wet. And so I'm working on the hood, and I put down an SP to do a one-step on it because I'm just, I spent the first month at Beasley's just playing with products, familiarizing myself, and I couldn't pull it off. Like, I'm like, what is going on here? Like, I couldn't do it. And the weird thing is, you use a fraction as much. So when we do consumption testing, we're doing a paint enhancement. So no defect removal, but, laying down some gloss, basically exfoliating the paint, laying down gloss. We're doing with a half an ounce, 3/4 ounce, we're doing a full paint correction anywhere from 1 to no more than 2. I've yet to ever see the guys do a paint correction, full paint correction on a car. I mean, we're doing, cans and MLs, all this kind of, normal size cars. And it's crazy efficient on the correction. You're using, when I prime the pad, I'm just doing like basically, maybe 2 nickel sized dots and then going back with a P or 2. So it's like that whole thing of like, I have to use less, but then you push it beyond where you're comfortable. Because, old school, when you're working on the surface, you'd start to see it kind of lays down wet. When you start to see it dry, okay, pull up, apply more product. With this stuff, you work it till it's almost gone off the panel. So, usually when I'm talking to guys, I'm having difficult takeoff. And then I'm just like, it's the same 2 answers every time. Use less product, work it longer. You got to have that mental breakthrough, because with new technology comes new techniques.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So because all my techniques were rooted in old technology. So here I am. I got on an SP. I went around twice around the pad because that's
way too much, huh?
And then like Christian, who I know, you guys see my videos, are like, I call him the Magic Man, like screaming, like, you want to beat me over the head. He's just like, no, he rips the pad off. And he's like one little thing. I'm like, are you serious? And then he's
one little thing.
Yeah. He goes one, boop, watch like
it works
Zaya.
That for what? Works that for a half a hood?
Maybe a quarter. I mean, he's working, a pretty decent, size area in front of him, a third of a hood, stuff like that. So, I mean, that's the thing. You got to, because this is the unique thing about the product. So you have to learn that balance of it, because if you put on too much, but you're only going to need 8 passes, the math isn't going to work, because you need to ride the product completely through its process. You know what I mean? So, if I know I'm going to do more passes, I need a little bit more product. And you innately kind of learn this balance, because, I always tell guys, you can't get it off. If you get the cementing, distilled water and start over. Okay. Spritz a little distilled water, pull it all back off, rip the pad off, use half as amount that you did before, and work it twice as long, but once you kind of learn that balance, and get this kind of innate ability to kind of measure how much I need versus how many passes I need to do, because like everything, you start with your test spot, nail your process, continue it around the car. So it's just part of that. Like, do I need 8 passes, 12 passes, whatever it is? But again, you just got to get used to it, where you break through, like it looks like it's drying out, break through it to where that stuff is almost disappeared, because when you're doing it right, it's a simple with your microfiber and you're done.
And is this do you insist people use the orange and blue pads from Dr. Beasley's?
I tell guys, get the machine best, get the pad best, get the paint best, because anytime you really want to work with something, it's about changing one variable. Otherwise, you don't know what you did. Is it better or worse? Which variable was it? You don't know. Change one variable.
Yeah.
Change
everything. You're right.
Exactly. Now, microfibers, you're going to use more product and stuff like that. But I know the guys who use it well with microfibers and stuff like that. Most guys I hear back do really well with the foams. But many guys use the Rupes pads. Many guys use, the buff and shine pads. Like, in the end, again, here's what I can say. I mean, we don't make pads in the end. I'm like, it's nice. We have them. They're a convenience for you. I mean, we worked with Lake Country. They did all their testing too. So in, the opinion of Lake Country and Dr. Beasley's, these pads are ideal for this, but we're actually expanding it. I'm actually adding a micro wool to the collection. So now you're going to have the orange as your polishing pad. You're going to have your blue, which is, you want to call it a heavy polish. You want to call it a light cutting. But just to give 150 a bit more teeth for people who wanted to do a two-step, because, and then we were adding the micro wool, because the fact is a 95 is a great one-step product. You can come in hard paint, 95 in blue, softer paint. A lot of guys, that orange HDO and NSP 95 is a phenomenal one-step to get, we're talking 50% correction, of far as defect removal, and then move on to like a nice, 3-year, 5-year coating. Again, when we're talking amongst the boys, I go 3-year, 5-year. If I was talking to a customer, it'd be something else. But yeah, I mean, that's.
I see Phil Miranda all the time uses that. He always uses I've heard countlessly I think it was the NSP. And the orange pad. Yeah. That's his go-to, like all the time. He's always using it. So
no, I mean it's an amazing product, and I mean it's something that, like I said, in the end, when I'm looking at this, and it's funny, I told my wife this, when I was kind of telling her about the opportunity of Beasley's and stuff like that. I'm just, because I'm looking at this, like at that point as an outsider, kind of looking in, like having done my research on the industry on the macro level, and then looking at Beasley's on a more focused level. I'm like, this is an amazing product this guy has come up with. And I think that's again, because he's an outsider looking at it. And again, to Jim, this is the weird thing about him. He's not a car guy. Like, I mean, he loves his Land Cruisers. He's got like 4 or 5 of them or whatever it is. But, like we go out there, like he calls me all the time, like, is this a cool car? And like, what is it? Like, it's like, it says Buick GS. Oh, is it a stage 1? Yeah, it is. Like, yes, that's a cool car. Is it a 4-speed? This is a very cool car. Yes, let's do a video on it. But it's something where he is, his background, he has a business background, but his actually first love is undergrad was in chemistry. So, this is where he, got that entrepreneurial itch, opened up Simon's Detail, got this thing going, and then started seeing problems that he needed to fix. First was like, our one of the best products I sell, leather cream, and is because he was using Lexol. Fine product. I used it in our store, in our chain of leather and comfort stores. We used Lexol on the leather in the showroom. I know it well. It's greasy, it's shiny, it's slippery. It is what it is. But that's what I knew. That's what my father told me to use. I mean, I did what I told, what he did. But Jim saw this, and it was a problem. He had customers complaining about it. So he gets in the lab, and he comes up with this leather cream, and he puts lanolin in it. You know what I mean? Because he's just like, he's got this different mind that thinks about it. And it was just like that lanolin gives it that nice hand, the leather, super nice hand, but no greasiness and then a matte finish. So it's like, to him, he's just solving problems. He's looking at this detail business. He's like, this isn't right. This isn't right. And there was a thing. I mean, that's, again, the story of the NSPs was like, I did my coatings and now we're having some coatings. Well, the coatings, because these polishes don't match the coatings. So let's fix that, and that's what it's always been for him, is problem solving.
It's quite an impressive website, just how comprehensive you are. Mm-hmm. One thing I've noticed is small sizes, and that makes a little more sense now that we've had this conversation. It's not
it's a lot of it's available if you do the little drop downs.
Yeah, you can get them. You
got your retail 12 ounce, but almost everything you can do gallons and 5 gallons.
Yeah. And that I didn't know. I was at Carzilla just yesterday, and I was looking at Chris's wall of Dr. Beasley's, and they were such small bottles. It looked like a makeup wall at the local.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's my wife's an esthetician, right? And for those of you who don't know, I didn't know what that word was until I met my wife, but she does like waxing and facials and stuff like that. And that's the thing. You look at the NSPs, the tube looks like something that should be on her shelf. Yeah. But there's a reason for this. The reason for that tube is because, again, there's SaO2, TiO2 technology. So kind of like the ketchup bottle that's in your refrigerator, the product falls to the bottom and forms a natural seal. Because you can't have an upright bottle and have that screw top or that flip top, then air's getting in there and it's going to cure and you're going to have product waste. That's why our new 32-ounce bags for professionals are absolutely brilliant, because there's absolutely zero waste. Because even with the tube, you get some recovery. There's rigidity in that tube, so it'll recover some. So no matter what you do, it's going to itty bitty, a little bit of air could be in there. You might get a little bit of waste, and then to get that every last milliliter out of that tube can be challenging sometimes. So with these bags, we did these 32-ounce bags we just released, and you can actually now squeeze. Nothing comes back into it, so there's zero waste at all, and you can get every last milliliter out of it. Doing the old toothpaste technique. So again, where we're coming from, it's about efficiency. Yes, this is one of the most expensive. We use the most expensive abrasive that anyone is using on the market. The nanogel, not cheap. But if you look at it, cost per ounce, yeah, you're going to go, whoa, that's expensive stuff. I don't care about cost per ounce. I care about cost per correction. And then if you do a consumption analysis, the amount of product that you're going to use NSP versus any other compound, you're going to find that you're going to be using a fraction of it. So again, this is where I say it's not cost per ounce. Don't get caught up with all that. It's cost per correction. How much you burning? How much are you going through?
So I'm going to throw a different schematic at you. So Eric and Mike, for sure, I'm sure cost is a big thing for you because you're pounding projects out, it seems, daily almost. Mm-hmm. I do a detail for someone else once a month. So I'm not looking at cost. And Eric, you're somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah, I'm probably, yeah.
Am I going to have a wonderful experience working with Beasley's? That's what I like. Am I going to feel like I'm giving this customer or this friend of mine, usually these people that I work with are friends of mine, am I going to feel proud of just the whole process? What's the feel like?
So there's a guy down in Pompano Beach that early on in my time, first couple of months with them, I met. He had original paint Venetian Blue 930 Turbo, beautiful car. Very concerned, obviously, being original paint, that how far can we push it? He was a new owner to it. How yes, it had probably a half a dozen owners, probably well maintained, but still, who knows how much is really left? And so this is where I speak with him over the phone. We're talking NSPs because again, it's about that efficiency. That we want to be very judicious. We want to be cautious with our material removal there. So this is something like NSP 45 is perfect for, because all we really want to do is exfoliate the paint and create a surface, that we can, again, lay that nano resin down on. That nano resin, which by the way can build, you can get microns of film built, so we can build some thickness back up on there when we do our paint, when combined with the paint correction by NSP. So it takes an open mind, because I had to call this gentleman, and he is, was like myself. He's a guy that, did this as an enthusiast for many years, had a machine, had pads, but I had to kind of talk him through the process of, this is not like using the McGuire stuff. This is something different. So if you have that open mind and that willingness to go through that learning curve, and I'm speaking very specifically to the NSPs, then yeah, you're gonna have a great experience. Other products though, like I said, it's our leather cream. It's just something you should have. Every detailer, generally I put it in their hands, and whatever they are using sits on the shelf and dries out then after that, because it's got an amazing scent. And that's the other thing about Beasley's. No VOCs. You're gonna notice that you open up stuff, you don't get that with our stuff. The little crosses on the thing or whatever on the look, health of the detailer, health of the car, health of the environment. That's what we're talking about there. So we want to, it's kind of like, let's not be big tobacco and kill our customer kind of thing, with unnecessary VOCs and chemicals and all that kind of stuff. So, again, I think, we are technology in the end, we're pushing it forward. So if you have that open mind, then yeah, I think you're gonna have an incredible experience with all of our products. Because the other thing that you're gonna find, I was just at a PCA event a couple months ago, and it's a concours club, and there's a bunch of Porsche guys who want to enter their cars in concours, and it's all about OEM finishes. It's all about as it was back then. And again, that's where we excel. We're our leather products don't add that. Like my Dash Pro is going to give you all the UV protection. It's going to keep the dust off of it, but it's going to leave an OEM finish. It's not going to look like anything's on it. And again, this kind of stems from our background, our experience with matte. What's the whole point of the matte? Our matte products, you can use it on gloss all you want. It's not going to turn anything matte. The whole point of those products is it doesn't change it. So we're taking that same experience with the matte, taking that into the interior, because what do people not want? They don't want to change. I want my leather to look exactly how it looked the day I picked up the car. So it's about preservation, and it's about OEM finishes. So if we can utilize this same technology and put these ceramic coatings on interior surfaces as well, to protect them, then why not? Why not take advantage of it? And again, it's something that, customers don't know any better. I mean, come on, you've been using silicone products and dressing to dress the hard plastic interiors for how long? I mean, I always did. Ooh, like that. Wow, it looks awesome. 10 minutes later, just, just glued to it, no matter what you did. So, if we can address that with technology, that's what we're trying to do.
Well, I'm loving Dash Pro from what I'm looking and hearing, and I'm loving I'm bad with names, the system, the 45.
The nano surface primers, yeah, NSPs.
So is there any, so with the NSPs,
yeah,
it's a primer for the coating, but do you guys have a sealant too that you can just put on top of the NSPs? You know what I mean?
All right, so you can put any ceramic. Now again, if you have, I got Modesta guys, I got Geon guys, I got G Technique, I got System X guys, I got all sorts of guys that use our nano surface primers and put their coating on top. Like I said, in the end, I'm not going to push that business. I'll wait. I understand that you buy the product as much as the people in this business, and that's why I'm like, hey, I'm here whenever you need me, because that's fine.
So I guess my question is, can you put a ceramic sealant on top of it, and will it bond better than if you weren't using the primer?
So I mean, any ceramic, as long as it's SaO2, TiO2 technology, you can put that right on top of it. Now, we do have, so you got the kind of 45, 95, and 150 kind of over here for your paint corrections and your one steps. Kind of over by itself is NSP Z1. Okay. This is an AIO, so that's an all-in-one product. So that is actually got amped up ceramic technology. So you can do a one step. So it has a range of abrasive from 45 microns almost up to 95 microns in diameter. So you can get a range of correction there, but it has an amped up technology where you can actually walk away. And that is, well, here's where marketing is going to tell you it is up to a 1-year coating. Me as a salesman, I'm Mr. Under Promise Over Deliver. So I'll say, hey, you're going to get 6 months out of it plus. But so you can go that route too. But this is where
Z1 you said?
That's the Z1. That's the AIO. But if you are looking to put, as long as it's not a hybrid, with not a polymer sealant and acid, as long as it's a legit SiO2 coating, whatever it is, and that's what I said, you are going to get all your bang for your buck by using an NSP for the paint correction, because again, we're going to ensure, listen, I'm sure everyone is very thorough with their IPA weights. Are you 100% sure? Are you 100? Well, are you positive? Hey, we've all been there where it's, and don't forget about the times where it's like third car, fourth car of the day. I'm tired. I want to go home. Sloppy with the towel management. I didn't see that sliver in the micro, and I just ran a sliver across the hood. Now I gotta go redo this. I mean, how frustrating is that? So it's like, again, if we can avoid that, why not? Minimize the risk, maximize the efficiency, and in the end, like I said, the most important part of this, and going back to what you're saying, Rick, you're not doing it for the efficiency is not a big seller, for someone in your position, but I would imagine delivering the best possible product would be, like you're doing this for your friends. That you don't want your friend to come like, yeah, it's okay. No, you want your friends to come like, dude, that was awesome. That's the reaction you want. So, I mean, if that's the reaction you want, then this is the product you want to do preceding whatever protection you're going to put on it. The correction should be NSP.
Well, I could see why you do what you do, because I am now ready to throw everything out and go full Beasley's.
You better take
full Beasley's.
I'll take your G on shelf, Rick.
I'll get 12 ounce. I'll get the 16 ounce. I'll get the 32 ounce. I'll get the 1 gallon. I'll get the 5 gallon of everything. No, listen.
Throw it all in the cart.
Yeah, everything on the left side of the menu, please. No problem.
Eric, how are you doing there? Are you hanging in? You weren't feeling well. You got another 5 minutes in you?
I got one question. It's only a 2-minute question.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
So
I'm good.
I got this guy who he hasn't stopped asking me. He's the secretary for a glove box. How can we get? How can we see Dr. Beasley's in a glove box?
That would be
Ask.
awesome.
Okay.
Have you asked me?
There you go.
That's it.
Oh.
Okay.
It's not difficult. I'm a pretty nice guy.
Chris,
See, and this is this is the beautiful thing about not being the owner. You know what I mean? I laugh at Jim all the time. I'm just like, I love spending his money. It's not my, it's his money. You know, I don't know.
Perfect.
Well, Glovebox does a wonderful
So
job.
I just gotta tell the secretary of Glovebox, just ask and we can get it.
Well, that's good. Let's hook it up. I mean, let's get it done. I mean, hey,
Closed mouths don't get fed, right?
what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? I mean, let's build the relationship. Let's help each other out. I mean, and get the word out there. I mean, that's what in the end, you know, I'm trying to spread the gospel, the NSP out there. So let's work together to do that. Why not?
Well,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you just sold me, Mike, Rick, and everyone in here is probably going to order some NSP.
Well, we got to try it out. I've
bought a few times because I've done 2 matte finish or satin finish vehicles, and both times I bought the prep. It's like I don't know it's a couple $100 because I charged extra for it. The whole prep of the decon and the panel prep and the matte finish stuff, so nothing glosses out. But I was scared shitless when I first did the first one, though. I was like, "Is this shit really gonna work?"
And
oh man, that shit was phenomenal.
Everyone freaks.
I was nervous. I was like, dude, are you sure it's gonna work? Are you sure it's gonna work? And I'm like, wanted to jack the car up so I could do the bottom part of the bottom part just to make sure if something got fucked up, it was never gonna be seen. Oh no, it was good.
I mean, time and again, I mean, the guys and it's just like, oh, they're freaked out. I'm like, you don't break a sweat because everything with matte, you know, you can't polish it, you can't clay, you can't do. There's nothing physical or mechanical you can do to it. It's all chemicals. So literally, it's easy. It's a less physical effort than gloss. So I mean, it's actually easier. But everyone likes to get themselves in a twist about it. I mean, I have guys to this. I got a guy down in West Palm Beach right now, a really good young kid in this, and he's doing phenomenal work. You know, real super high end cars, this and that. Will not do a matte car. Just absolutely terrified of it. I'm like, you are leaving money on the table here. I mean, this is the one thing. I'm like, yes, only 4% of cars are made in matte, but do you know that 100% of those owners own more than one car, and most of them own more than 3?
Yeah.
You know, and generally, if you save a guy on his matte car, guess what? You're getting the rest of them in too.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, you just got the fleet. You know what I mean? Because it's the G-Wagon. The Venetian blue turbo guy got to me because his wife's got a matte Range Rover and he's got a matte G63. So that's how he started with Beasley's without making a phone call. But then he called us about the 930 when he bought that. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things as a professional. You know, is it going to be your bread and butter business? No, but the lead generator it can be, you know, leading to other business, you know, is undisputed.
So B&B wants to know, do you have anything for wrapped vehicles?
Wrap? Yeah, I mean, we do. So, I mean, we got our film coating. So we do our film cleanser, which is safe for matte or for gloss film. So that's a phenomenal cleanser that, you know, again, you got to be careful with anything you're putting on film or wraps because obviously anything solvent based, no bueno. And we know that's a bad deal. So you have the film cleanser that's specifically formulated for film. And then we have our matte film coating and our gloss film coating, you know. So, I mean, this is, you know, products that are obviously, you know, give you that hydrophobicity and contaminant resistance. But with the film coating is where we're amping up that UV protection. Because what's the Achilles heel of most films? It's UV. What causes it to yellow? What causes the adhesive to fail? UV, you know. Yeah. So this is where we're going to amp up that UV protection, you know. So this is, you know, either something like that or, you know, you go to one of our pro coatings, our matte paint coating pro or our nano resin pro for gloss paints. Those are both 100% solids formulas. That means there's no solvent in them. You know, that means they're self-healing coatings. So that means micro marring, towel marks, and all that kind of stuff are a worry of the past. Etchings, you know, from bird droppings and watermarks, we're not freaking out about those anymore. But the beautiful thing about that coating, again, is you get out of it what you put into it. So the one thing with those pro coatings, because they're 100% solids, I mean, they're a bear to put on. They're not easy. Ask anyone who's done one. And, you know, I tell guys, you know, if you're figuring a labor rate for a pro install, you take your average coating and go 50% more on the labor. You're going to go through more towels. You're going to take more time because what's a solvent do? it thins it out, makes it easier to lay down. Then it goes up in the air, doesn't help the car, but it makes it, and then it makes the takeoff easier. You eliminate that, now all of a sudden it's more difficult to spread around, more difficult to take off. But the results of it, especially if you're doing, and Rick, like if you're doing guys' cars, like someone that just wants to go absolutely bananas, and like you're doing like show car type stuff, like, and this is the thing about show car guys. Like you go to one of my best guys that sells more pro installs than anyone else. He works a lot of car shows. So, was a guy at a show white. He wants to put down the guy next to him. He wants to have more insane gloss than that guy. What you're able to do with the Nano Resin Pro is you're able to get
Nano. You're talking
Nano
about
Resin Pro.
Resin Pro.
Yeah, Nano Resin Pro. So, I mean, this is a kit. It retails for $500. I mean, it's you get an ounce of Pro and 2 ounces of the builder. And what I always tell guys, use all the builder. You're building gloss with the builder. The builder's not a prep. It's not a cleaner. It's part of the coating. So you go around, use up all the builder, and you come back. When you do your NSP correction, then you do your paint coating prep, and then you put your 100% solids Nano Resin Pro on top of that. You're talking 4 to 6 microns of film build. And what we're trying to recreate here is like, I grew up going to car shows and with my dad and my brother. And every time we go to a car show, there'd be a Tri-5 Chevy and Tuxedo Black. So that's 55, 56, 57 Chevy. And Tuxedo Black, that's black paint, no metallic, no flake, but it'd be so deep you could swim in it. The reason that paint was so deep is because the dude cleared it, he sanded it, he cleared it, he sanded it, and there's like 8-10 layers of clear on there. And that's what we're replicating here. So we're doing our paint correction with NSP, we're laying down nanotechnology. Then we're doing our paint coating builder. And then we're putting a 100% solids coating on top of it. We're going to build 4 to 6 microns on top of that. That gives you that depth that gives you legit candy gloss. Yeah. And that's what makes that coating incredible. Not that it will warranty it for 25 years when a authorized guy installs it. I tell my guys, don't ever tell that to a customer or else you're talking yourself out of a sale. That's not what sells it. Candy gloss, self-healing. That's what sells that product. No one is going to care that it's a 25-year product.
Well, one thing that I really appreciate about what benefit we get from doing these lives and meeting people like you, Chris, is that we're going to get your mobile phone number so that when we're deep into a detail using one of these advanced products.
Mike? I have Mike's. Dude, it's no joke. You become one of my. You're like, listen. When you get with Beasley, you're one of my guys. Like Mike has my dude. Call me, Mike.
It's right here,
right?
Yeah.
Call me, dude.
I'm doing it right now.
All right.
See?
Oh, all right. Look at that. There's the proof.
I mean, this is the thing. You're.
I said snuggle buddy.
I'm kidding.
I had to.
Oh my god!
Big one. We appreciate that. We're one of your guys.
Definitely.
I have a feeling we could go on for another 2 or 3 hours and still not even crack the surface. I feel like what we've done tonight.
I don't even know what time it is. I don't even know what it is.
An hour and a half. I told Chris 45 minutes to an hour. That's about normally what we do. We're an hour and a half into it.
Whatever. What happens when you get car guys?
Right? And see, this is what I'm saying, man. Like, you think I'd ever do this in my old life? Hang around talking about, how about that Le Corbusier, club chair that, that's a beautiful new color that came out. Like,
not as cool.
Not
as cool. I think what I've got out of this is, like, I've always known Dr. Beasley's to be a reputable brand.
Yes.
But what I think I needed, and I think I got tonight, was an invitation to, like, get my feet wet and try it out. And maybe I'll start with, a few different little products. And
what would you recommend?
Yeah,
like for someone that was just wanted to try a couple products just to get their feet wet, like Rick said, like me, for instance.
Again, I go to the NSPs because I think that's a game changer. Again, you got to have that open mind ability, and to the point, like, seriously, get on the phone with me, give me a call, we'll do it. I mean, we can talk you through that. I mean, obviously our coatings, I mean, this Dash Pro that we're talking about, I mean, I think that's amazing. The Leather Lock Pro, I think, is an awesome product. We do a leather lock, which is a nice at-home DIY. The regular leather lock is a nice DIY because it's a water-based, super safe. it's about a 1 year durability. And you can go, you get a 12-ounce bottle for 40-ish retail, I think. And so it's pretty reasonably priced, and you can go far with it. But when you go to the Leather Lock Pro, you go to a solvent base, and the reason that's important is because now you're going from a 24 to 48 hour cure time to a 2 to 3 hour cure time. So it's professional. You're not holding that car overnight anymore. And you're also given 5-year durability. And you're talking a super hydrophobic coating. And that, we are absolutely, that's been a huge growth point for us on that product. So, I really especially for the professionals out there, I always here, Leather Lock Pro, like I said, the leather cream, that was the Dr. Beasley's first ever product. Everyone should have it. The leather cream and the plastic conditioner. These are what's going to leave all your customers. Again, it's going to have that really nice touch to it. It's going to feel, the thing is, the last thing you want a customer to notice is the product on leather. You want them just to notice how nice this leather, not that it's shiny, not that it's this. If your customer notices the product on their leather, that's a fail. You just want ooh, this is nice, and that's what you get with these products. You don't get that shiny, you don't feel anything on your leather. It's just wow, this feels really nice. And this, again, the scents, that's important. You smell our leather cream, it smells awesome. We have a scent for that. So, that would definitely be something I would go for. For something super easy DIY, do it in your garage. Hey, I don't have a machine and but I do want to get into the ceramic game. Jim's first ever coating is called Formula 1201. And it's called this because 1201 is, 1 minute past midnight is a new day. So this was his first coating. So 1201, all that. So
okay, I like
that. So Formula 1201. So this is a wet application. So Mike, you'd be familiar. This is like the matte coating is a wet application. Some people aren't used to that. They're used to the dry application, but it's a super easy, super efficient way to do it. And it's a very nice, very durable coating. Gets a nice warm gloss on it. The other product that's kind of next to that is called Plasma Coat. Now, Plasma Coat is interesting because it's basically new school technology and old school experience. So that's basically my Corvette customers down in Florida. My retirees who pull out the Corvette in the garage and wax it on a bi-monthly basis. Even though it only gets driven 3 miles around the block to a year. But I want new technology, but I want that old school experience. So we have Plasma Coat, which is literally like a paste wax experience, but it's all nanotechnology. So, those are some things that are kind of fun for the DIY market to kind of, cut your teeth on. My favorite coating, though, if I was going to be judged on a coating in our collection, it's going to be Nano Resin MX. Now, the Pro is awesome. I love the Pro. I got it on my Shelby. It's an incredible thing. It saved my behind, bird poop on the vinyl stripes, sitting for hours on end in bright sun. I was able to clean them up with their final finish and no etchings, no nothing. So it was incredible. But Nano Resin MX I love it because it's a warm gloss. So anything, like if you have a tri-coat, anything with any flake in it, any colors, basically if it's anything but black, if it's going black, I'm doing Nano Resin or Nano Resin Pro because those are cold gloss. But if it's got any sort of flake in it, then I'm going with this Nano Resin MX because that really warms up the flake. We did at our training, our future detailing training we just did in January out in Arizona, we had a red Viper. And that paint, that bright red, a lot of texture in it, but those Vipers had a ton of texture, but really bright red, and that MX made it awesome. But the reason I love that coating is because it's a hydrophilic coating. And to me, it's all about getting water off the panel. So as much as, American society, and if you've watched any of my videos, how I complain how Americans don't know how to drive and hang in the left lane. I think Americans are also equally incorrect because they're obsessed with beads, and I always say high and tight beads make high and tight watermarks. I don't really care. I want it off the panel. And I like Nano Resin MX because it's a hydrophilic coating. So you'll see water gather together and then dump off. To me, that's what I'm looking for. I want to be able to take a tissue and drop it on the panel and it be dry. That's what I'm looking for, not a bunch of beautifully formed beads.
Let me ask you, for some people that have snow in their areas, do you have anything for floor mats that they can put on their floor mats to help with their salt?
So we got a product called Salt Chisel. So this is a product.
I saw that, and I was going to pick that up, but I thought I was going to ask you first.
That's inspired by our friend Scotty McLean. He's out of Nova Scotia, one of our guys. He called Jim and he's like, I got some road salt encrusted floor mats that are something fierce. I need you to do something about this. So Jim does what he does and got in the lab and sends it off to Scotty. And it's funny because I still talk to Scotty this day, and Scotty actually called. He's like, "This stuff is so great. You should call it Salt Chisel." And so now every time I talk to Scotty, he's like, "Hey, my royalty check," and I'm like, "Don't hold your breath." It's a great product for exactly like that. And this is, again, it speaks to what the whole gig with Beasley's is about. It's just like, we have a problem, let's solve it. And that's where, you're not going to find an APC in our catalog, because that's kind of against the Beasley's mantra. It's like, if there's a substrate, we have a product for that. Like, it's not like, we're not a kind of shampoo and condition kind of company. Like, you're going to do it the right way. You're going to shampoo and then you're going to condition.
All right, listen, I think I'm judging from comments. Some people are getting snarky in the comments, so maybe it's getting too late.
Yeah, no,
we're getting to the point where people need a snack and they need to get their.
Oh, now I got to go back and review the comments. I never even paying attention.
Oh, no. He's in timeout right now.
Yeah. It's very rare people act up on our lives, but once in a while someone has 2 beers and doesn't know how to handle it. So
no. It's still full.
Oh, I think you know how to handle your beers. Well, thank you.
Okay.
No, hey, Mike.
No, go ahead, Mike.
Question. That's it. I'm
limiting
you.
For it,
no, I wasn't going to be a question. I was going to say in 2 weeks, our next live, we're going to have Stoner's window cleaner on our next live.
Oh, window cleaner. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got Stoner's.
Yeah, not Eric's next door neighbors.
And Chris, I want you to look for an email tomorrow from a guy named Fred. He's the secretary for Glovebox.
Okay.
He's going to be emailing you tomorrow.
Please.
Secretary.
Also, I'm gonna Fred actually sent me the link to the GoFundMe for Jabre. I know Jabre's saying goodbye to everybody.
I've been trying to put it in the comments because I have it too. I've been trying to put it in there. So I won't let me get it in there.
I'll put it in there right after we shut the live down.
Yeah, when the live's over, we'll put it in the comments and then we can pin it. And we can pin it at the top, right?
Done.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Chris, thank you so much, man.
Go ahead and help him out on that.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you guys. Let's do it again. That's whenever, I'd love to do it again. A lot of fun getting together.
Appreciate you, Chris, for doing this with us.
Absolutely.
We learned a lot about Dr. Beasley's today. I think Rick's Garage will have Dr. Beasley's products in it by Friday.
Overnight.
Anyone out there is coming to Southern Detailers, come find me at Southern Detailers Conference. I believe booth 426 I'm going to be at. Otherwise, I imagine I'll be down at MTE in January too. So anyone sees me walking around, come grab me.
Yeah, sounds good.
And I think we all learned a little bit. We all need to be our own director of success.
Absolutely.
So that's when the true happiness comes.
So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks on this. I think we'll be on my channel in 2 weeks with Stoners, and Chris, don't go nowhere because when we end the live, we'll be backstage and we'll just chat for a few more minutes and then we'll have our goodbyes. So till next time, everybody, we'll see you on 2 weeks.
Definitely.
Smurf it up.